we're talking about whistleblowers, I want to define a whistleblower here, because I think we all have this sort of idea of someone going, working within the federal government, the CIA, but any employee could be a whistleblower on an organization that is doing anything illegal, fraud. What are some of the things that you run into? Because I think we normally think about whistleblowers as, some of the worst sort of crimes, right? Violence, assault, those types of things, and conspiracy, that sort of thing. It doesn't necessarily need to be that egregious, right, to be illegal and to be cause for a claim.
So let's distinguish between different states for a second,
okay.
Right? So typically, the whistleblower law needs something, and again, I'm just talking in generality, so it's specific for every state, it's specific for federal, but generally speaking, in order for you to be a whistleblower, as that term's commonly understood, you have to be able to go and make a report, like usually a written report, oral report. We'll talk about making a verbal report later, but you usually have to make a written report to some governmental body, right? Before you're considered a whistleblower, right? For instance, if I work at a business that I think is, defrauding Medicare, right? In Pennsylvania, for instance, before I'm considered a whistleblower, I actually have to go and file a report.
So I can't just go on Facebook and go, hey, look at what these guys are doing. I'm a whistleblower now.
No. And I don't think in New Jersey you could either.
Okay.
Right. But in the distinction between states like Pennsylvania, for instance, and a state like New Jersey is in Pennsylvania, if you report what you think is unlawful activity or illegal activity to your supervisor, you don't necessarily get protections. Sometimes, some cases you would get protections. I don't want to get too far into the nuance, but you don't necessarily get the protections if you report things to your supervisor in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania, okay.
If in New Jersey, how that's different is there's so many, you can drive a truck through the definition of what a report constitutes, okay? And so you can refuse to participate in unlawful conduct, right? So you could tell your boss, I'm not doing that. I think that's illegal. That counts. You've reported,
okay.
Right? You can go to your immediate supervisor, not the CEO of the company. This is my manager. You tell the manager, hey, I think what we're doing is illegal. You've reported. You can go and, I advise people not to make any sort of verbal reports because then it's he said, she said. But, you sent an email, you sent a text message and said, I'm not doing this to your supervisor or to a manager. You've made a report for the purposes of New Jersey's SEPA Act. It's very, very all-encompassing. And the refuse to participate thing is such a big hook that doesn't really exist in a lot. I mean, I don't know where it exists or doesn't exist.
Right.
It definitely doesn't exist in Pennsylvania. Okay.
So when you say refuse to, I have to at least tell you, my supervisor, somebody, that I'm refusing to do this, or if I just refuse to do it, is that why
there's best practices, right?
Right?
Let's talk about best practices, because at the end of the day, if you're going to sue somebody for SEPA, and we'll talk about how you can do that and where you can do that, you're going to have to prove your case, right? You're going to have to prove that you made a report. So the best practice is that you still make some sort of noise